Here we go. In the table, Adam recorded the miles he traveled each day while traveling from Florida to California. Calculate the average rate of change between day 4 and day 6. By now, when you read the words average rate of change, another word should pop in your head, and what word is that? Slope. Now, when you hear the word slope, you then immediately think about what? Okay, but we're not looking at a graph, so what else? Well, correct, points. Because to do slope, don't you have to use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, to use that formula, you have to have 2 points. The first point, of course, would be your x1, y1, and the second point would be your x2 and your y2. Now, they told you which 2 points to use. Which points did they tell us, Marcus? What points? Calculate the average 4 and 6. Okay, so what is 4? 4 comma what? Right, because at day 4, he is now 1,503 miles from home, and then at day 6, he's how far from home? Right, 2,196 miles. So now that we have our 2 points, we plug them in. It'll be y2, which is 2,196, minus y1, which is 1,503, over x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 4. What does the numerator become? 693. What does the denominator become? And then that simplifies to what? $346.5. So that means he's averaging about 346.5 miles a day. That's how many miles he's driving a day. $682 minus 383, and then over 1. Try that. What's 682 minus 383? What is it? Okay, so you can't, because this is obviously not linear. He's not traveling the exact same amount of miles every day. All right, now I'm going to pass out your new packet. Today, we're just reviewing stuff that you should already know how to do. Okay, this is not new material. Okay, so as long as you're paying attention, today should be an easy day. Okay, starting with number 1, the directions say find each product. What do they mean when they say the word product? Right. So how do you multiply something like this where you have a monomial on the outside and a binomial on the inside? Distribute. 6 times m is 6m. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. Now, can I actually subtract those now? No, why not? Correct. They are not like terms. This one has an M, this one doesn't, so you're done. Shh. Yep, that's it. Number 3. Number 3. Shh. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 2 is, and it's a positive 8, so you put plus 8, and then you're done. You can't add those together because they are not like terms. Okay, number 5. Pay attention. 8m to the 4th times 5m is what? $40m to the 5th. Okay, let's talk about why the 5th. We all know that the 8 times the 5 is where the 40 came from. Well, if this is m to the 4th, doesn't that mean this is m to the 1st? And whenever you're multiplying variables, you add their exponents. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now, what about 8m to the 4th times 4? Plus 32m to the 4th. Okay. Right. 8, no, you can't add them because this one's m to the 5th and this one's m to the 4th. They're not like terms. Yes, Sion? Okay. No. No. Number 7. 2 times 3k is 6k. 2 times 7 is positive 14. And then you cannot combine them. They are not like terms. Number 9. 5n times 5n is 25n squared. 5n times negative 8 is negative 40n. Okay, now go to page 2. Not all of that is homework, so try not to go ahead because that's not all homework. Okay, number 11 on page 2. This time you're doing the same thing, except for this time it's not a monomial times a binomial, it's a monomial times a trinomial. But you do the same thing, you just have to do it 3 times instead of 2. 8 times 7x squared is what? 56x squared. 8 times negative 8x is negative 64x. And then 8 times negative 8 is, right, and then there's nothing to combine because this one's x squared, this one's x to the first, and this one doesn't have an x at all, so you can't combine them. Number 13. 7 times 7n squared is 49n squared. 7 times negative 5n is 7 times 1 is 7. Okay, and you can't combine any of those. They're not like terms. Number 15. 8x squared times 5x squared is 40x to the 4th. 8 times 5 is 40. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th because 2 plus 2 is 4. 8x squared times 7x is, so plus 56x cubed because that one's got a 2 and this one has a 1, and when you add those together that's 3. And then 8x squared times 1 is 8x squared. And then those can't be combined because they're all different types of terms. One's to the 4th, one's to the 3rd, and one's to the 2nd. Number 17. 8x times 5x squared is 40x cubed. 8x times 3x is 3. 8 times 3. 24x squared. And then 8x times 3 is 24x. And make sure you're putting the signs. She must have saw it too. Nothing. You must have just saw that said 2 or something. All right, number 19. Number 19. 3m squared times 5m squared is 15m to the 4th. 3m squared times m is positive 3m cubed. And then 3m squared times 3 is positive 9m squared. She added instead of multiplying. Next page. Next page. This time we're multiplying a binomial times a binomial. This also is not new because remember on the previous test you had to, when you were changing it from vertex to standard, you had to write something twice when it was squared and then double distribute. So that's all we're doing here. First distribute the 7v times everything in that binomial, and that becomes what? And then 7v times negative 7. Right. Yeah, first you distribute the 7v times both of those, and now that you've done that, you distribute the 6 times both of those. 6 times 7v is positive 42v, and then 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. Now with these, there are like terms. See these two in the middle that are both just a v to the first? They can be combined to a what? Negative 7v. Negative 49 plus 42 is negative 7. So negative 7v, and then the 49v squared and the minus 42 just come down because they can't be combined. Okay, number 23. Am I going too fast? Number 23. First, I distribute that 7a to everything in this binomial. And 7a times 8a is 56a squared. 7a times negative 4 is negative 28a. Now that I've distributed the 7a times both of those, I'm done with it, and now I have to distribute the negative 6 times both of those. Negative 6 times 8a is negative 48a, and negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. No, that's elementary school. Okay, now we got 56a squared. These two will combine because they're both a to the first powers. And what is negative 28 minus 48? Negative 76a, and then plus 24. All right, number 25. 2a times a is 2a squared. 2a times 1 is positive 2a. 3 times a is positive 3a, and 3 times 1 is positive 3. When you combine like terms, what does it become? Right, that 2a and 3a add to a 5a, and then plus 3. All right, number 27. 4x times 7x is 28x squared. 4x times negative 8 is 8 times 7x is 56x, and then 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. Now the two in the middle will combine because both of them are just a regular x to the first, and what do they combine to be? 24x plus, because you're adding more. The number you're adding is bigger than the negative number, so it'll take it into the positives. Okay, number 29. 2n times n is 2n squared. 2n times negative 4 is, right, negative 1 times n is negative 1n, and negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. Now you have 2n squared. What do those combine to be? Minus 9n, and then plus 4. Okay, now we're going to skip page 4 for today. Go to page 5. No, not right now, in a few minutes. Okay, r minus 7 squared. What does that actually mean? Yeah, but what does squaring something mean that you're doing? You're multiplying it by itself, so you write it twice, just like we did when we were going from vertex to standard form with parabolas last week. Now all you have to do is double distribute. R times r is r squared. R times negative 7 is negative 7r. Then you distribute this negative 7 times both of those as well, and it makes another negative 7r and a positive 49. Now, are there any terms that can be combined? Those two combine to a what in the middle? Negative 14r and then plus 49. So r squared minus 14r plus 49. Okay, number 3. 1 minus 4x squared literally means 1 minus 4x times 1 minus 4x. So the first thing we do is double distribute. 1 times 1 and 1 times negative 4x becomes what? Right. And now that you've distributed the 1, now you distribute the negative 4x times both of those, and it becomes squared. Because this x times x is x squared. Now what do I do? Okay, does 1 have a term it can be combined with? No. What about negative 4x? And that becomes, and then plus 16x squared. Now, that is the right answer, but like on a multiple choice test, more than likely they're going to write it like this. 16x squared would come first because it has the largest exponent, then the negative 8x, then the positive 1. What is that called? Well, you're right. It is a parabola if you graphed it, but it's in standard form now because you wrote it in order where the exponents start at the biggest and go to the lowest. Okay, that's called standard form. All right, number 5. 1 plus 2r squared is 1 plus 2r times 1 plus 2r. So first I distribute. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2r is positive 2r. Then I distribute the 2r times both things in that binomial, and it gives me another positive 2r and a positive 4r squared. Now when I combine like terms and write it in standard form all in one step, tell me the final answer. Yeah, I went ahead in one step and wrote it in standard form as well. And yeah, Naya's right. This is a parabola. How do you know it's a parabola? Just by looking at it. Well, it's ax squared plus bx plus c, but the reason you know it's going to be a parabola is because it's a quadratic equation. The highest exponent is 2. So if you graph that, that would be a parabola. Where would the parabola cross the y-axis? 1. Its y-intercept is 1. Would it open up or down? Up. Would it be a shrink or stretch? Stretch, because your a value is greater than 1. Okay, number 7. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 7x is, okay, 7x times 3 is, right, and then 7x times negative 7x is, right, negative 49x squared. Now let's write it in standard form and combine like terms. What will combine? Right, they will combine, but while combining they will cancel out. Negative 21x plus 21x. So is it okay just to put x? Well, correct. If you put an x, that's saying that there's one x remaining and there are 0 x's remaining, so you don't write anything. So it'll just be negative 49x squared and then positive 9. And that would be in standard form. Okay, number 9. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative 8x is 8x times 1 is positive 8x, and then 8x times negative 8x is, right. So now in one step, let's combine like terms and rewrite it in standard form. Plus 1 though, because those cancel out. Now look at these two questions where the middles canceled out. What did they have in common? Well, every single thing about them was identical, like 3 and 3, 7x and 7x, except for their signs were opposite. 1, 1, 8x, 8x, but their signs are opposite. Anytime that it looks like that, the middles are going to cancel out. Okay, now turn all the way back to page 1. And for the next few minutes while I'm coming around and passing out graded work, you're going to be doing every other even. So like you'll start with number 2, skip number 4. Do number 6, skip number 8, do number 10. And then you'll do that same thing on the next page. 12, skip 14, 16, skip 18, and then 20. And then on the next page, you'll do 22, 26, and 30. And then, of course, on page 5, you'll do 2, 6, and 10. So every other even is what I want you working on right now while I'm passing out papers. India, tell me what you got for number 2. Marcus, turn around. On page 1. You're on the wrong page. 24m squared plus 12m. Because 6 times 4 is 24, m times m is m squared, and then 6 times 2 is 12, m times nothing to multiply it by just remains m. Okay, number 6, Connor. Right, 18n squared is what you get when you do 6n times 3n, and then plus what? 30n. 6 times 5 is 30, and then n is just n. Number 10, Marcus. Whoa, we're on number 10. Four x times 6x is squared, and then 4x times negative 4 is negative 16x. Okay, next page. Number 12. Who wants to give me their answer for it? Okay, go ahead. Okay, I see where it's for number 12. What did you get? Okay. $10x. Okay, Jasmine, did you have a question? Oh, you want to answer? You want to answer number 16? Okay. Right. No. I already explained that. Some people continued every other even from the previous page, but I intended to do like the top, the middle, and the bottom on every page. Okay, number 20. What did y'all get? 7x squared. Okay, next page. Number 22. I'm just going to do them fast to save time. 18k squared. And then you would have gotten negative 12k and positive 12k, which would have canceled, and then negative 8. For number 26, you should have got 15n squared. That would be a 6n, and that would be a minus 40n. So that would be what? Negative 36n? 34n, I mean. And then minus 16. 4n squared minus 32 plus 6n is what? Negative 26n. And then minus 48. Okay, you need to finish these for homework. So by the time you come in tomorrow, pages 1 through 5 should be completely done except for page 4. Okay?